Welcome to the Blood Moon Archives, home to real-life encounters of things that go bump in the night. These aren't just stories. These are true horrors that will haunt you long after the screen fades to black. So lock your doors, close the curtains, and keep those lights on. Let's get into it. Chased Home on the 4th of July by Arlene Timmons. Location: Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. I've always loved the 4th of July in Pigeon Forge. There's something about the way the mountains frame the fireworks, how the air smells like funnel cake and grilled meat, and how even strangers feel like neighbors for a day. I go every year, same routine. Spend the afternoon wandering the fair, win a stuffed animal or two, eat something I'll regret later, and end the night watching the fireworks with a blanket spread over the grass. My boyfriend and I had broken up 3 weeks prior, so this year I was going alone. Plus, how alone can one really feel amidst hundreds of people? This year started no different. I walked the doctor from my house down the road to the fairgrounds. It was about 40 minutes against the heat of the pavement. The place was packed, of course. Families with lawn chairs, teenagers with sparklers, vendors shouting over country music, blasting from speakers too old to handle the bass. I remember getting a corn dog and lemonade, then sitting on a hay bale watching a man try to wrangle an angry goat into a pen for the petting zoo. One of those weird little Pigeon Forge scenes that would only ever happen here. But there was this feeling I couldn't shake. From early on, even when the sun was still high, something had been tugging at the edges of my attention. You ever get that sense someone's looking at you, even when they're not? Or that something's watching you from just out of sight? It was like that, but it didn't feel threatening, just insistent. I kept glancing toward the tree line beyond the fairgrounds. There's a little patch of forest back there, nothing too dense, and part of the Greenbrier Trail winds through it. I've hiked it before. Wide, well-marked, nothing remotely spooky about it. But today, I kept catching myself staring into the trees like something was waiting. I told myself I was being silly, maybe overheated, maybe just imagining things. I tried to focus on the fireworks. They were beautiful, as always. Red and white bursts lighting up the ridgelines, echoes bouncing off the hills like thunder. Everyone clapped and cheered and held up phones. I stayed until the last spark fizzled out, then packed up and started the walk back to my house. That's when I made the decision. I don't even know why, really. Just that the trail would cut 10 minutes off my walk, and I've done it dozens of times. Seemed easier than weaving through traffic and people. So I turned off the main road and slipped into the woods. It was still warm, even at night, and the trail was lit just enough by the leftover glow from town and the occasional porch light filtering through the branches. At first, everything was quiet, peaceful even. I could hear cicadas buzzing, a distant firework popping off somewhere, and the crunch of gravel under my shoes. Then the rustling started. Just ahead, just off the path. My first thought was deer, or maybe a raccoon. Nothing unusual out here. I slowed down, listened hard. The sound stopped. I shrugged it off and kept walking. But a few minutes later, I heard it again. Closer this time. A heavier rustle, like something bigger moving between the trees. I picked up the pace a little. And then, footsteps. Not mine. Behind me. Syncing up with mine in that weird, delayed echo kind of way. I stopped. They stopped. I turned around. Nothing. Just trees and darkness, and the faint trail behind me. My skin prickled all over. You know that feeling? Like something just brushed past your arm, but nothing's there? I told myself to calm down, just keep walking, almost home. Then came the growl. Low, guttural, quiet enough that I almost convinced myself I hadn't heard it. But I had. And it wasn't a dog. Not any kind I've ever heard. I started to run. I don't run, not really. But I did then. And with every step I took, I could hear the footsteps behind me, matching my speed. Branches cracked, leaves crunched. The growl got louder, closer. My heart felt like it was going to punch its way out of my chest. Still, every time I looked back, nothing. It was like whatever it was didn't want to be seen, just heard. I tore out of the woods like something had lit a fire under me. My house was just a block past the trail's edge. I fumbled with my howkies, dropped them, cursed under my breath, picked them up, got the door open, and slammed it shut behind me, like it would actually protect me from whatever that thing was. And then it was quiet again. Dead quiet. No footsteps, no growl. Just the sound of my own breathing. I didn't even check the windows. I just locked every door, crawled into bed with my shoes still on, and laid there listening for something, anything, until I finally passed out from exhaustion. When I woke up this morning, for a brief second, I thought maybe I had dreamt it. That maybe the heat and the crowds and the fireworks had gotten to me. Maybe I'd spooked myself. Then I went to the front door. 4 massive claw marks, deep gouges in the wood, like something with hands bigger than mine, and a whole lot meaner, had tried to get in after me. I don't know what was out there. I don't know if it wanted to hurt me, or just scare me, or just be seen. But I haven't gone near that trail since, and this year, I might skip the fair, just for once. You know, just in case. Well, you've heard the truth. But remember, not every story ends when the video does. Some stories follow you home, into the dark corners of your mind. If you've made it this far, you might just be brave enough to face what's next. If you want to hear more of these terrifying tales, and perhaps awaken something, you shouldn't. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.